Hello and welcome to the Robin Pod Weekly, which is powered by Budget Tyres Auto Centre, the only car specialist trusted by the players, club officials and supporters of Hull Kingston Rovers. Super League is back with the Robins taking on the Catalan Dragons in their round 16 fixture at Sewell Group Craven Park on Saturday night. Joining me to look ahead to that game and chat about all things Rugby League is someone who features regularly on the Six Again and Only in Rugby League podcast, and someone who currently sits in 9th place in the Robin Pod Prediction League table. Welcome to this week's Robin Pod, Bry.
Thanks for having me, mate. How are we?
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
It has, but hey, listen, busy man, and things have been looking up. So you need vocal from your inside, from your own club. Never mind what we all have to say.
Yeah, and I tell you what, mate, I am a bit late to the Only in Rugby League podcast. I've absolutely loved listening to it just because it's a lighter look at rugby league and it's not taking things too seriously. And I do enjoy how they point out some of the anomalies in rugby league and some of the funnier, light-hearted moments.
Yeah, the lads do a great job, don't they? I'm just lucky to be a part of it, really. Doing our own prediction league initially, and then getting subbed in now and again when someone can't join in. But the lads do a great job, and I think that's the key of it. They just like to keep it light-hearted and not go into too much detail like other podcasts sometimes do. So it's just a different spin on our fantastic sport.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Bri, if anyone does listen to it, they will know that you've come off the bench that many times and made a positive impact. You must be pushing for a starting spot now.
Do you know what? My legs are knackered after all that running around. Yeah, we've become close over the last few years. So whenever whenever they need me, I'm always there.
Yeah. Now, Bright, like I said, Six Again, but also founder of something which is very important, which is Rugby League Shirt Day, which was recently launched. Was it yesterday?
Monday it was launched. Yeah.
Bright, tell us about Rugby League Shirt Day and why you do it.
Well, this year it's our 3rd year that we're doing it. We've actually made a change this year. The last 2 years we've raised funds for MND and Steve Prescott Foundation. It was always the plan to change after 2 years. And we are now going to be raising funds this year for the excellent Rugby League Cares, who do a fantastic job, obviously, when players have stopped playing and they need a bit of help and support and education, maybe training for pastures new, for life after rugby league. And we do it because it started out because my wife's disabled, and we saw what Kevin Sinfield was doing with all his walks and his runs and things like that, and we wanted to participate as a family, and she couldn't really do much. So we realised that, well, she can actually put a shirt on, we can take a photo, we can upload it, spread the love of rugby league across the world through social media and raise some funds that way. So that's what we've done, and that's what we plan to do, and hopefully this year it'll be bigger and better, and people like yourselves who we have as ambassadors, like names like Danica Prema and Wayne Godwin, and some clubs as well. We're just hoping to make this a bigger and better year and raise as much funds as we can for the excellent Rugby League case. Yeah,
and it is really simple to get involved, isn't it? But it's really simple, but people can have a huge impact.
Yeah, the amount of things that have happened, especially last year. I was at a St. Helens game on the day last year, and there was people talking about it, stood in front of me at the kiosk. And I was just, when you hear something that people are talking about, and you'll have it yourself when people talk about the podcast and stuff, and you can see the smile.
Positive though, Brian, to be fair.
You can see the smile on the face, and you can see the smile on the face, and that chat, and the people were wearing I think they were wearing Pilkington Rec shirts that day, and it was just heartwarming to see that this is spread and people are talking about it, and the awareness of rugby league and the charities that we were fundraising for was that's the main thing, really. It's raising awareness for them, for the charity, and as I say, making as much funds as we can. And this year it's on Friday the 20th of September. We've decided to keep it every year for the last Super League fixture on the Friday. And so that's where we're going to be every year from here on in.
Yeah, which is, I think if my mind serves me right, Rovers will be playing Leeds at home on that night.
Yes, they are.
Great. We've got, when we take on Catalan on Saturday, the club, you know, fantastic. They've done retro round where they reduced the ticket prices, I think, to 20 years ago. They're encouraging people to wear their old shirts and stuff. And this is another opportunity to dig out your retro shirts. You know, people these days have got loads of them, haven't they? And this is an opportunity to get them out. And like I said, Saturday's a great occasion to do that. But Rugby League Shirt Day is another great time to do it.
It is. And you know what? While we're here, I'd like to thank 𝗀𝗂𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 Foundation as well. Because when we first started, they were real help and really spread the word for us as well. And they're a fantastic organisation who do so many good things off the field, like things that are happening even with the pre-season game coming up. People like Ben Parker and the job that they do. Fantastic organisation. And without them, we wouldn't be as successful as we have been for the last couple of years, because they were the first ones to really support us and get behind us. So we appreciate everything they've done for us.
Yeah, and it's a great shout out. And people who are watching and listening to this, make sure you go check them out, because it's something that you might be able to benefit from. They do all sorts of activities that people can get involved in. They do a lot of work in the community. I know they do a hell of a lot around employment and helping people in East Hull get into work. So go check them out. They are doing great work. And again, they need as much support as possible. Right, Rugby League Shirt Day. I'm fully behind it, and I know lots of the Red Army will be, as will supporters of Rugby League in general. So let's hope we can raise as much money as possible, and we can dig out our old shirts and put them on and just enjoy the occasion whilst also raising money. One other charitable cause I just wanted to give a shout out to is, of course, people who've listened to the Robin pod before. Craig Eskeret, who's featured many times. He was actually on when we did the Heritage Cast with Scott Taylor. He's been on previously. He's somebody that I know personally. His son, incredible, really. 7 years old. He wants to run 20k in July, and he wants to do it to raise money for M&D. Obviously, he's seen his dad who's suffering and going through that, and his son wants to make a positive impact. He's doing 4 5k runs. He wants sponsorship, but he wants people to join him as well. Now, I can't think of any better reason to go for a 5k run than to support Jack while he's doing it. He's doing 4 runs in July, all at East Park in Hull. Saturday the 6th of July, Thursday the 11th of July, Sunday the 14th of July, and Thursday the 18th of July. The Saturday and Sunday ones are 11 a.m. start. The Thursday evening ones are 6 p.m. starts. Meet at Summer Gang's entrance of East Park. Raise money, go support Jack, get involved, just be part of something which is incredible, Brian. It's just amazing that, unfortunately, you know, terrible things like M&D are about, but they also bring out the best in people as well.
They do, and the thing that if I remember rightly, Jack asked what he could do to help. He asked Craig what he could do to help, and you know that shows everything. You know, the boy's amazing. And the job that he's going to do and the money he's going to raise, and also highlight MND in this country. It's just amazing, and you know, our hats off to him. And I hope so many people turn up, especially this Saturday for this first one, to support and join in. Just you know, even if you don't run it, walk it. You know, to take the dog, take the pram, take the baby, just go and join in and let's raise some fantastic funds. And well done. You know what? The best thing about it, well done, Jack. Amazing young boy.
Yeah, amazing. And I know for a fact me and my boys will be joining in at some point and raising money for it. So the more people can get involved, the better. Bri, International Rugby League, I did a Robin pod last week with Phil Kaplan where we previewed it and we talked about what the future of International Rugby League might look like. Unfortunately, the game on Saturday pretty much lived up to its billing. If I was to sum it up, it'd probably be a meh. It was just it happened. which I think is terribly sad for the players involved. You know, the players like 𝗕𝗂𝗡𝗏𝗄𝗎, who are making their debuts, players who are fiercely proud of representing their country. And it was just such a shame that everything around it didn't live up to what an international fixture should be.
Exactly that. You know what? The work that let's just stick with Elliot. The work that Elliot's done to go from where he was, I think it's 5 years ago, playing League One or Championship with Sheffield Eagles, to work your way up to become an international, and then you do all this hard work and you get it, and then it's, as you say, it was like meh, meh. And now you've got ex-pros coming out now, even giving it not abuse, but not looking at it in the light that it should have been looked at. But I think that comes from the organisation of the whole thing. It was shambolic basically from start to finish. I know we were supposed to be celebrating 90 years of French Rugby League, and people are pointing at the French Federation and that they should have done a bit more. But I think we should have done a bit more. I think we should have encouraged it and built it up a bit more. And it just didn't seem worthy of an international, if that makes any sense. You get a cap. I would be proud of that cap of playing for England and enjoying it, but it seems slightly tinged by what actually happened on the day. And I think when you look at, there was only 2 journalists who went there from our country. That just shows you how much it was appreciated in this country and how much thought went into it. And then you look at the debacle of even getting there. They were in the airport for 9 hours. They couldn't even do a captain's run. And the whole fact that it was pretty much an understudy to a championship game as well. It was just laughable, the whole thing. But I think you're right. I think those players who made their debuts, those players who were on the fringe, who were coming in, it's kind of disrespected them, really, I think.
Yeah, and 𝗕𝗂𝗡𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏, he's already spoke in his pre-Catalan press conference. He spoke, and he was speaking about the game and where it was played, the crowd, etc. He shouldn't be talking about that. He's making his. You wouldn't have it in any other sport, would you? Where players are talking about the stuff around it. He should be just talking about how proud he was to play, what he got out of the game, how he hopes to hopefully break into the squad for the Samoa tests. He shouldn't be talking about stuff. And the build-up was strange, wasn't it? They trained in Wigan for much of the week. Then when I saw Shaun Wane wouldn't be there because he had an operation, and you're starting to tick of all the boxes of everything that could go wrong is pretty much going wrong with the build-up and the setup. The fact that was then delayed flying out to France, and it is just everything around the RFL just seems a bit like amateur hour at the moment. And how can we do it on the cheap? And ultimately they have to do it on the cheap because there's no money. Let's be honest about it. There's no money in the game, let alone in international rugby league in this country. We're sort of left scratching our heads at what does the future hold, because it doesn't. These games are almost to the point of they'd be better off just having a training camp and not playing a game at the end of it. But, it's getting to that point now, I feel.
It is. You know what? And even more things are coming out since the game. Like George Williams took a training session. Yeah. It's laughable. That's exactly what it is. But you're right. There's no money. There's no love for this international in mid-season. And that's not just from the fans, it's from the clubs and from everyone. We want something, but everything that's getting put out in front of us seems, as you say, meh. And what can we do? I think the options are either a training camp, as you say, have a massive training camp where you can you can have you could have played that game behind closed doors, learned a lot more, and no one would have known. No one would have known about it. You could have had press there. You could have looked at combinations for the future. You looked at new players. No one would have known, and you'd have got exactly the same out of it. It's exactly the same out of it.
And I do think as well, I mean, it probably highlights the challenge Toulouse have got in terms of as a team growing as well, because they were fully expecting upwards of 10,000 for that game. And why shouldn't they? You know, you've got the women's game going on, who incidentally they beat France at 42 points to 6. You've got an international fixture, men's, you know, at the pinnacle of the sport for them players as the women's. And then you've got a championship game. Why wouldn't you expect there to be a big crowd? And even the French public haven't pretty much bought into it. The fact that it was their 90th anniversary, which deserves celebrating as well.
Exactly that. And, you know, we can go through the history of France and all the struggles that they've had of trying to build rugby league in the country, like even back in the 50s and things like that. And what more can you do?
Yeah,
it's you know what, for the French Federation, what more could you do? Because it's like Huddersfield. Huddersfield don't get the crowds, but the club do everything they can. Yeah, the club do everything they can. Everyone who I've spoke to who've been to Toulouse say it's an amazing experience. They have big marquees and big tents, and they make it a whole day of entertainment, even after the game. But there's just no buy-in like there is for Catalan. And I think the only way that Toulouse will get similar to how Catalan is if they have a prolonged run in Super League, where then people will want to go, because the city's amazing. It's an amazing city, and it's somewhere that you should want to go. But it's what can they do anymore? And I think you're right again with the England things. For me, you look at the team, you look at the 1, 6, and 7 is you starting 1, 6, and 7 if you were playing in a World Cup semi-final tomorrow. This game should have been about looking at combinations and looking at people for the future for me. So Mikey Lewis should have started. There should have been someone else starting at fullback. There should have been another 7 starting. You want to see what you. For me, in a game like this, where, let's be honest, no one's really interested, that's your time to see what these players can do, and people can then put their hands up and go, look at me in the autumn, look what I've done, look what I can do, look what I've done for the rest of the season. I'm your man. And I think that's also part of it.
Yeah, 100%. And if you mentioned Mikey Lewis there, ironically, when he did get his opportunity, it was in the hooking role. Yeah, and he's still done what Mikey Lewis does. Yeah, it was a fantastic break on it for the George Williams try. Yeah. And that was encapsulating everything that Mikey Lewis has got. It was his skill, speed, you know, power, and then the ability to come up with a pass at the right time. You know,
and his brain and his knowledge, is using his brain to just see the opportunity and go. It was perfect. Everything in that try encapsulated Mikey Lewis as a player. Yeah,
and you know, there will be, I suppose, better for the experience. I'm guessing it'll be a different experience to what Mikey Lewis experienced when he was with the England squad for the Tonga Test series, because the whole setup around it just seems farcical, really. And if you look at the game, Bri, it went the way pretty much everyone predicted. England 40 points to 8 victors, despite an early scare, 18 points up at half time. And it is just a bit of a run-of-the-mill fixture, isn't it? It becomes just. I can understand why there's a lot of apathy towards this fixture, because it's not it's not a challenge, is it? It's just almost going through the motions, because we all know that England are going to put 35 plus points on them every time they're playing.
That's it. And, you know, there was a lot of Catalan players in that squad, but there's a lot of good Toulouse players, but they couldn't be involved, obviously, because they were playing a league game. But you're right. I was thinking, watching it, would this be beneficial if it was in this country? And then you look back and you think, well, we played them last year. The crowd was poor. The game was very similar. What can you get out of it? I actually thought to myself, if that game was played here, it'd been played at Lee, probably, and somewhere like that where you need a game in international where you can go to places like Headingley or Wigan and get a good crowd and get a good buzz around it, and there was just nothing. And you're right, everyone expected it. It was an early. You'd expect France to come out fighting straight away, so it didn't really surprise me that they scored early. It did. There was a bit of a lull from England in the first half, but again, I think that was maybe a bit of nerves from the new players, maybe a bit of not really knowing combinations and plays because they didn't really do much during the week and they couldn't have a captain's run. But then obviously there's word come out that Shaun Wane gave them a telling off via text from his hospital bed at half time, and then they come out and done what they done, and then your impact, your bench obviously had a bit of an impact as well. I think the players who were seasoned internationals, you didn't learn nothing about them.
Yeah.
I think the players who were coming in and off the fringes, you probably did learn a fair bit. And just seeing how they were in the environment. And that's why you're right when you say it should just be a training camp, because you can get all that same information from doing a training camp.
Yeah, and I do think credit to the players, because I think they came up with that performance not because of the environment or the build-up. It was in spite of it. So I think credit to them for the way they carried on. A lot of players,
both men and women.
Full credit to them. Absolutely full credit. And a lot of the players who weren't involved in international rugby league at the weekend took the opportunity to go pretty much everywhere around the world, didn't they? We had players out in Spain, Greece, France. Interestingly, Oliver Gildart decided to go to Loch Ness.
Very interestingly, Ash Andy went to Wimbledon. Yeah. So you know what? Nothing wrong with a bit of Loch Ness now and again. Got a nice golf course there.
Yeah. I wonder if he went in search of Nessie. I wonder if that was his motivation.
Don't say that. Andy will be listening to this and having an only in Rugby League next week. You know what? It's an opportunity though, isn't it, to recharge your batteries? Yeah. And this is the period now where the league starts becoming into its own for the rest of the season. Hull KR done it last year. Yeah, it come to the break, and then it was a push, wasn't it, for the end of the season? And I think some players actually do need it. That this little week away, go away with your mates or your family or your loved ones, and just relax, get away from it all. We all need a holiday. Yeah. We all need one. So
to be fair though, right? I mean, a lot of I'm guessing a lot of coaches, and I think 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏 mentioned it, he uses that they'd already pinpointed this stage of the season when the players will get a rest because they know they've got the opportunity. And, to be fair to Rovers, Challenge Cup semi-final, the Fair Super League. Mm-hmm. So he can say to the players, look, lads, you've done great so far. You worked out in pre-season. You got to this position. It's ironic, though, to see our neighbours across the river letting their players go on a holiday. You're almost like, where was the reward for their shambolic existence at the moment?
Well, you know what? I refer this back to any sport. If you're struggling like they are, I'd have them in every day, every single day. That's me personally. As I've just said, everyone deserves a holiday, but I would in that instance have everyone in, because it has been, as you say, shambolic.
Yeah. Well, we move into round 16. Before we discuss Rovers against Catalan, I thought, Brian, we could just have a look at the Super League table and just do a little mini review of the team so far. I mean, we'll start at number 1, Wigan. 24 points, 2 points in front of St Helens with a game in hand, and also played a lot of games away from home. They've got a great run towards the back end of the season. they have looked pretty formidable this season so far.
They just are, aren't they? They won the whole thing last year, saw what weaknesses they had, and done what every good club should do when they've won. They built on it, and they just look stronger and stronger and stronger. As you say, they've got a lot of games at home. You just see nothing but Wigan finishing top and being in that grand final, probably winning it.
And they've got players, Bright, who have been there, done that. They've got the experience. They know how to win a playoff game. They know how to win a final. But then they have that conveyor belt of youth coming through. You know, look at Nsamba. You know, what an athlete, what a rugby league player. And they're always able to get that balance right.
Yeah, they are. And even with imports as well. They mix the three of them perfectly, and they have done for years. And you know what? They had a blip here and there. But you're right, the players like Farrell will bring players like Nsamba through and not show them the ropes, but they can learn. You just sit there and learn from people like Liam Farrell and see how he does it. And then when it comes to the crunch, them players, as I say, been there, done it. But now, them youth players, they've probably all got 4 medals. They've all got 4 medals, all the 4 medals. So they've all been there and done it. So then it's the ones behind them now, like Faramond, who's going to be like, right, I want a piece of this. And it's a constant cycle, isn't it? And then I say with the imports, the job that 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗏 does off the field as well, impeccable. And for me, Matty Peast, best coach out there. Job he's done, amazing. And the humility of the man as well is you don't see that often.
And when you talk about continuity, there's not many rugby league coaches who get an 8-year contract, is he?
I know, but you know that you look where he was 3 years ago, look where he is now, and what he's done in between. Yeah, unbelievable, literally unbelievable. Any club in this country would want him as their coach, and many in NRL would want him as their coach as well.
Yeah. If you move to second, you've got St Helens on 22 points now. The handily placed, and I'd say there's more noise coming from Saints fans in terms of disappointment than maybe the rest of Super League, because St Helens is still a side to be feared, but it's the Saints fans, and that's probably because the standards are just so high. You know, losing's not really an option, but there seems to be a bit of a transition going on at the moment.
Yeah, I think that transition's going to last a couple of years as well. Yeah, it is, because winning's just an option, but I also think it's a style of play. I think most Saints fans got used to this, where you knew it was going to be entertaining, and since Christian Wolf, it's gone the other way. It's been more defensive. Don't get me wrong, the defence is amazing most times, unless you go to Craven Park on a Saturday afternoon. But I think that's the problem, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Saints fans are used to, I'm a Saints fan, I'm used to them throwing it about, playing a bit of expansive, and not just winning, but literally beating teams into submission. And when then it turns to the other way, you got to kind of get used to it. And I know it's been 3-4 years of trying to get used to it, but then you still don't see much going the other way. And I think Paul Wellens has come out and said that if you score 18 points, you should win a game, or concede less than 18 points, you should win a game. And it's the whole mindset seems to be about defence, when realistically, as a fan, you're there to be entertained. And the main entertainment is going forward, and players like Mikey Lewis, when they get the ball, and Bevan French, and get the ball in there, and they're electric. But no one talks about how they are defensively. And I think that's the issue with Saints fans.
And to be honest, Brian, I think most fans of other Super League sides will probably say Crimea River.
In a nutshell, yeah.
That's the standard, isn't it?
That's it, and it's the standard of where the club has been, but it's because they're the most successful Super League era club, but they had a period where it was not going well, and then it came back, And I think now it's came back and they had that much success again. It's very similar to how Leeds were with their golden generation and the fans. And I can see Saints having the same type of blip that Leeds have had in the last few years coming up.
Yeah. And I don't know if you're hearing the same rumour, Bri, but there could be one Hull Kingston Rovers player departing the club to be possibly becoming a Saint next season, and that man's
possibly. Yeah, possibly. We've been discussing this as a fan base, some friends of mine, and we were saying that he's not really lit up trees this year, but I think that's because of 𝗪𝗓𝗏 and the runs that he makes, or just on his inside, because he always seems to come back inside, so the ball always seems to go the opposite way from him. Whereas last season he was amazing, and I think it's just a switch of tactic. Whereas it kind of Willie Peters not wanting to be a second season syndrome coach, so he's trying to come up with new ideas. So it's not just right, we'll give it to Tom and let him score, or give it to Ryan and then let him score type of thing. Trying to mix it up a bit. I think he's a great player, and if he does come, yeah, he'll be appreciated with open arms.
Yeah, and I do think with Tom Opacek, he's a player, and there's a few of these where you only notice they're not playing when they're not playing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just goes about his business. I mean, you'll see from his try scoring record throughout his NRL career, he's not a try scoring centre necessarily, but what he is a very good defensive centre. And I think what you've just said about St Helens, he probably fits that mould perfectly for Wellens.
Yeah, I think he's very similar to Mark Percival on the other at the other centre. I think Percival scores a few more in the last couple of years, but it's very similar. Where for me, you notice when Mark Percival's not playing because of his defensive work, and I think that's very, very similar with Tom. Yeah,
we'll move on to Hull Kingston Rovers, who were 2 points behind Saints, but 2 points in front of Warrington in fourth. Bri, what have you made of the Robins this season?
You know what? I think sometimes hit and miss. Sometimes, like you look at Castleford away, realistically that should have been a bit more comfortable. And realistically scoring all but 1 point in a 3-minute period, that wouldn't have been expected because of, again, we're talking about standards. The standards are rising for Hull KR. But in general, very good season, because most people thought they might just drop off from last season, reaching cup final, getting to playoff semi-final. I thought some fans might think that it'll drop a bit, but it doesn't seem to. It seems to have improved for me, and I think the quality of player is helped as well. I think bringing May in was a masterstroke. I think Evans has been really, really good at fullback. I also think the rotation with at 9 is unbelievable. I think we were comparing it last week to Cunningham and Roby. Very similar to how it was at Saints with them two, where Jez will do his stint and he'll do what he does, and then Matt Parcell will just come on and be a ball of energy while Jez has a rest, and then Jez comes back and does what Jez does best. And I think KR will obviously definitely make the playoffs. I think they could get to the semi-final again, and then it's just, I've said this week, getting over that line. There's been something missing for the last couple of years. As much as the improvement, I think there's just that little bit something to get Rovers over the line.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that second spot, Bri, and do you know what? I'm looking at going, I think it's there for the taking. But
it is.
To do that, I think Rovers would have to go and beat Saints at Saints, or they'd have to beat Wigan at Wigan to put themselves in just that 2 or 4 points that they'd need to put themselves in there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They're the games where you need that little bit to get over the line. You've proved that you can do it at home. You've proved time and time again that you can do it at home, beat Wigan, beat Saints. But it's them away games, isn't it? It's them big away games where you just need that little something extra, that little something to kick over the line. And once you've got that, Welsh oyster, really, isn't it? Home semi-final is there. It's, as you say, it's there. It's reachable. Just need to get that big away with.
Yeah, Warrington in 4th place, Bri. I mean, Sam Burgess is coming. He's surprised me. I do think he gets a lot of support from Gleeson. I think he's behind the scenes. He's big for Warrington. But there's not as much noise around them, and they seem to be just going under a little bit of the radar. It's just whether they can click and get that consistency, because they've shown they're more than capable of beating, you know, pretty much any side in Super League, but they've got a soft underbelly as well. And yeah, I don't know. 4th is probably where I'd see them at the end of the season, 4th or 5th.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's about par, isn't it, for them? I think sometimes when they're missing key players, like when they miss Williams, you don't fancy them. I've said this week, you look at Warrington and you think, oh, we've got them this week, and you think, right, we can have them. Whereas some clubs you look and you go, no, I'm not looking forward to this game. They do have a soft underbelly. Some of the performances they've put in, yeah, and we're not talking like start of the season performances here. We're talking in the last 4 weeks. Some of the performances they've put in have been awful. Even with all the players back, so they do have that soft underbelly. They're a bit Jekyll and Hyde at the minute, and that's why they're where they are. When you were saying then that there's only 2 points between Rovers and Warrington and Rovers and Saints, and you're saying you can push for it, do you really see Warrington pushing for that 2nd place? Not really, because they can turn it on the day, but they just don't have that consistency for me.
Yeah, I mean, and then you go to 5th place. In terms of resources and finance and support, Warrington, Salford. I mean, what Salford are able to churn out, you know, I tried to use an analogy, and it was like, you've got 4 tyres on your car. One falls off, normally you slow down. Salford don't, they speed up.
Yeah.
You know, they just get, no matter what adversity they go through or what happens, it just doesn't affect them.
No, and you know what? It's a credit to Paul Rowley, really, to getting the cohesion of them players, because you look at any club in any sport, if there's a bit of unsettling, a boardroom, a player leaving, a coach leaving, anyone leaving really, if there's gets a bit unsettled, they seem to have a dip. And you're right, Salford just go right, boom, and they're gone. St Helens got it last week. Everyone thought that, like, Ian Blee's leaving, there might be a bit of chatter about Rowley maybe going to Leeds as well, and things like this. And what did they do? They come out and they played off the cuff stuff as well. And you know what? When you've got Mark Sneyd in your team, anything's possible. Anything's possible. Some of the play that he does, but they didn't have. For me, Brian Braley's one of the best fullbacks in the league. He weren't playing. So when we've just been saying Warrington, they might lose a player, and you'd think, oh, you can get to them. Salford lose a player if through injury or suspension, and they just put someone else in the gap, and they go, right, we're still gonna have you. And I think they're in a similar situation to Rovers, whereas at home, you fancy them. Away, they just need to get something to get over the line for me.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't surprise me if they finished above Warrington, though.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Salford, you know, I don't think will win Super League, and they won't be in the grand final, but they'll give some of the contenders a bloody nose. That's what they'll do, and they will play a part in that race for the League Leader Shield, and because they have got the ability to beat anyone, and I think some teams will come a cropper against them. I'd say,
using an analogy, for me, for them, it's like that kid in school who, you know, every school's got the lad who's the one that you don't want to fight, and then there's a few underneath, and then they seem to be that lad who comes from nowhere, who's the quiet lad, knocks everyone out, and then gets to the big fella and goes, right, I'll have you as well. That's what they are. That's exactly what they are.
We won't talk about Catalan in 6th place because we'll talk about them when we talk about Saturday's game against them. 7th place Leeds. Crazy old season for them, hasn't it? I mean, of course, dealt with the tragic passing of Rob Burrows so well and so eloquently and gave him the full respect that he deserved. And you could see the outpour of emotion from the supporter group and past players, etc. Their season, though, it just seems to be faltering. And even now, in the hunt for a head coach, it's a little bit like their season. There just seems to be Leeds aside, who, of course, lived on former glories and have been there and done that, but they're not that club now.
No.
All the club is, but the playing side, you feel like with all the stadium development and stuff around there, they almost took their eye off the ball with the playing side. They got lucky getting to the grand final, Rowan Smith. They've given more time, but really it's never clicked. And when you look at their squad they've assembled, some absolutely fantastic players in there. But as a team, it isn't a team.
It just doesn't gel, does it? You know what? You described the international before as meh. Leeds have been meh all season. And you're right. Look at the players they have. The spine alone, most teams had won. That 1, 6, and 9 and 13. But it just doesn't. There's something about it.
They're still there in second place. They're still there.
And that's the thing. And this weekend, they could beat London. Rovers can beat Catalan, and they'll be in the playoffs. and you're like, well, where's this come from? But you know what? This Leeds team, I've been thinking about this week. They could do what the old Leeds teams done, whereas they finish 4th, 5th, 6th, and they still make the grand final because they do have the players to do that. It's just the biggest decision they've got now. They made one big one by bringing 𝗬𝗄𝗏𝗏 in. I think that was an amazing appointment for the club. I think it was needed. They've got rid of Smith again. I think that was needed. Whoever they bring in now, this is the most important appointment they're going to make, because if it's right, they can come straight back to where they used to be. If it's a similar one to Rowan Smith, they can have another 2 years of this at least. And I think playing wise, they have the capabilities, they have the squad to do something. And you know what? They might just sneak into the playoffs. But I think all eyes for Leeds should really be focused on next season.
Yeah. Now, Brian, I've got you down as one of the most positive people in rugby league, apart from when you talk about Huddersfield Giants in 8th place.
Oh my days! They infuriate me. And I don't think it's. I think it's because it's my closest Super League team to my house. To be quite fair, no, I think again they've got players who capable of being in that 4th, 5th, 6th place. They don't know it seems to me that they don't know what they're doing. They're
almost guilty of having too many players. And Ian Watson does not know. He's got all the jigsaw pieces, but he just doesn't know how to put them together.
I said this last season. The amount of backs they had last season, they could have fielded 2 teams. They could have fielded 2 1-7s last year. Easy. And it seems very similar this year, that he just doesn't know what to do, and then he's putting square pegs in round holes to try and fill the pieces. And then when you've got, I won't even mention who I normally mention when I'm ranting about them. Yeah, when you've got people like that, then demanding to be in certain positions and not performing and not doing the job. I'll tell you something now. I've looked at the squads for this week. Aidan McGowan is in the squad for this week, and he's an excellent young fullback. He reminds me of a young Paul Wellens. I've seen him play for Batley, Dewsbury and Bradford in the last couple of years, and I've been screaming for him to play him there, because for me, the man who shall not be named isn't a fullback.
Yeah.
Lahea is not a fullback. They need that
fullback. He's a Super League standard player.
Yeah, and that's it. You'll only know if he's a Super League standard player by playing him in the Super League.
Yeah.
Give him a couple of games, see what happens. But I think that again, they infuriate me, and where they are is down to the coaching, because they have the capability to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, 9th place Lee, Bri, probably the surprise package in terms of where they are. I think people probably expected them to be a lot higher, but I suppose, you know, Challenge Cup victors last season, they went through a transition from a championship side to a Super League side. They brought in players to do that job to keep them in there. They're now going through another transition, which is to shed some of them players who they brought in from being promoted. And if you look at some of the upgrades that they are making for 2025, you know, you dare say that this is just a season of them not deliberately treading water, but going through that bit of toil to get them where they want to be for next season.
For me, second season syndrome might played a bit of part of it. I think injuries to key players, 𝗵𝗂𝗡, 𝗦𝗣𝗢𝗡, 𝗪𝗪𝗓 at the start of the season didn't help. And then once you've got to the position that they were, because they've improved the last few weeks and they probably will improve, and they could sneak in. If they went on a good run, they'd probably finish 7th or 8th, maybe 9th. But again, I think once they had that start, they realised what Leeds should be doing now. Like if they go on a bad run in the next few weeks, let's look at next season. Let's get it right. We aren't going anywhere. Let's do this properly. And I think that you know what, they need credit for that. They need credit for holding up to where they are, what they're doing, and how they're doing it, and focusing on how to fix it, because not many clubs do that.
No. If you move to the bottom 3, you've got Castleford in 10th, that lot in 11th, and London, as many predicted, in 12th place. I mean, when you look down there, it's just a bit of a shit show all around, all for different reasons, isn't it? London never had the chance to really recruit because they knew their fate was sealed. Castleford, they've been busy chasing IMG points more than Super League points, and then that lot of a car crash are just, well, dumbfounded everybody through mismanagement, poor recruitment, crazy investment in certain players, and you know they fully deserve to be where they are. And it's just such a shame that there isn't relegation this season.
I can make this simple. Castleford, when you looked at the start of the season, looked at the squad, you kind of guess this is where they were, because as you say, IMG points over Super League points. London, as you say, they weren't given the opportunity, and everyone expects them to be where they are. We hope that this season helps them in the future, because that's what it should be doing. And helping them improve, because the facilities they've got, everything off the field is amazing. You just weren't given the opportunity to progress on the field, and it's unfortunate for them. FC, as you say, I truly believe they deserve where to be, because, as you say, it's been a car crash of the season. They built a squad that they thought was going to be challenging playoffs at least, that they thought that they could do things in the cup. And after 3 weeks, not even 3 weeks, when did you play them? When Minchella was waving people off? You know what? There you go, straight away. It was done there and then. That game done. You could see how bad it was, and now they're trying to fix a house which doesn't have the foundations. That's what they're trying to do all season. And you know what? I've been saying it for 3, 4, 5 years. There's something wrong at the club, and they've tried getting rid of the players. It's not the players. They've tried getting rid of the coach. It's not the coaching staff, because it can't be the same thing over and over again for the last 4 or 5 years. Same with the players. There's something wrong at that club. For me, it's in the boardroom, and until that changes, that club will keep on in this cycle that they've been in for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I look at the recruitment and what they're doing for next season, let alone what the bandage they're trying to put over this season. But it's like Richie Myers in a scrapyard, and he's just getting bits and bobs just to get them by. You know, he knows that they've got no long-term future with them, but it'll just get them by for the here and now, and which is no way to run a club. But I am pleased it's been run like that. I wholeheartedly want Adam Pearson to remain in charge. I want Richard Myers to remain in charge, because I want to keep them down there for as long as possible. And I'm sure with what's happening at the moment, I can't see it changing in the very near future whatsoever.
No, I totally agree.
Right, let's move on to Saturday, and it's our round 16 fixture against the Catalan Dragons. Now, obviously, Bri, you've got the dilemma of, do you tune in to watch Hull Kingston Rovers play Catalan, or do you tune in to watch England take on Switzerland?
I can help you with that because, as you can tell by my top, I do not support England, I support Wales. So I shall be watching Hull KR V Catalan.
And the pleasing thing as well is, Bri, there's going to be another sellout crowd supporting the Robins on Saturday. Of course, there's going to be people there who'd rather watch both if they could in a perfect world. I think it's clever the way that the club have not really acknowledged it. It's just it's circumstances. It is what it is. I'll have my transistor radio pinned to my ear, listening to
your wireless.
And then I'll be there at Rovers in another England v France encounter. Catalan, we haven't spoke about them in our little mini review, but they've struggled, haven't they? They haven't been great this season. No,
and you know what? You can pinpoint it to two positions for me. 7 and 1. Fullback, Arthur Morg is a fantastic fullback. He's just had to step in the shoes of Sam Tompkins, which is a hard job to do no matter what. But sometimes, because of the combinations that they've been having at the halves, they've been putting Morg in the halves because he can play there, or it's sometimes a hooker as well. And I think he needs a consistent run, a fullback to show his capabilities and show what he can actually do. Because on his day, he's a fantastic player. They did not replace Pearce. No. That's it, basically. I don't think 𝗬𝗂𝗏𝗏 is up to it. 𝗬𝗂𝗏𝗏, when he was at Salford, was a great player. He came to Saints and everyone was excited for him. And within 2 months, 3 months, you could see we're at the level that Saints are, or Saints were. And I think Catalan are at a very similar level to Saints. And so I still don't think he's at that level still. And then, if they got in there now, 7, Abdul.
Yeah.
Well, you let him go because for reasons.
Well, I think John and Abdul's performances for Catalan, other than at the start of the season, proved exactly why Willie Peters was justified to release him and let him go to Catalan, because
exactly that.
He's unfortunately, because I do think on his day he's an absolutely top quality rugby league player, but it's on his day and he doesn't have enough of them days, let alone his injury record.
And there, in a nutshell, is the problems the Catalan have, because Mickey McLaurin at 9, Ben Garcia at 13, Morg at 1, and Farge and Abdul at 7. On their day, they're great, but they have less good days than they do bad days.
Yeah, and you only have to look back to when the Robins got beat 36 points to 6 over in Catalan, how the two sides reacted to that. The Robins went on to have lost just 1 game since that result, whereas Catalan have only won 2 from 7, and even more, maybe not surprisingly, but there's only 3 of them games where they've scored 10 points or more.
Yeah.
So they've gone on a really bad run of form and games. I mean, they're pretty fortunate to beat Huddersfield, a bang average Huddersfield side.
That game was unbelievable, wasn't it? But that shows you where they are, because they put them points on them, and any other club would put the foot down and cracked on. Huddersfield had a 12-minute spell where they basically could have won the game.
Yeah.
And it shows where Catalan are. And again, I think these are the club. I think they're a club they're looking at next season. I really do. And because of that, they could miss out on the playoffs. They could be out the playoff picture out the playoffs this weekend, and they're at danger of missing out because they are. Don't get me wrong. The recruitment that they've made for next season, very good, very, very, very good. I think they've learned the lessons from what they didn't do this season, and I truly think, I really do believe that they'll miss out on the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I mean, on on social media I put out about Jordan Abdull and what potential reception he may get from the Robins. Of course, he's agreed a 3-year deal, which, I mean, he's done well to get that over on the other side of the city. I mean, you can't blame him for going across there and doing that, because interestingly, he's already talked about how this could be his final contract. And you think, hang on, you're still a youngish bloke here, so that pretty much tells you where he's looking. But Bazza on YouTube, he's put, for me, I hope John gets a good reception on Saturday. Me personally holding absolutely no grudges against him. He's a great bloke. Let's just hope he has a bad game against us. It will be interesting, I'm sure, in terms of abuse and stuff like that. It's almost pantomime abuse. It'll be just trying to do enough to put him off his game. And if he runs over to the East Stand in the physical condition that he has been over the last month or so, I'm sure he'll be reminded of that very vocally. But it's just, I think for me with Jordan Abdull, it's almost what could have been. And for him personally in his career, but also him in his career at Hull Kingston Rovers, because he's still up there with a Man of Steel points, I think, which is crazy. But
that was it last season, wasn't it? That was the start of last season. He was leading Man of Steel before he got his injury, and then he was playing amazing, absolutely. To the fact people were talking about England for him, and then obviously he gets his injury, and Willie Peters saw, I won't say recovery, because it weren't really a recovery, was it? No. Is his lack of oomph, shall we say, to get back and prove what he could be. And so for me, if I was there and I was a KR fan, I'd applaud him, but probably on the same side, once I've had one or two, I'd probably remind him of a few things as well.
It's probably going to be It's going to be one of them nights where he'll put on either a masterclass and he'll take to the stage and he will absolutely own it and almost not stick two fingers up, but go, this is me, or it'll go completely the other way and it'll be a shit show, and he'll just melt into the game. And
knowing the type of player he is, he'll want to do the first one. And if I was Willie Peters this week for training this week, I'd have put your wingers and your fullback peppered them with bombs all week, just for an hour every day this week of training, just peppered them with bombs.
Well, because that's the interesting bit as well, Brian, because Mikey Lewis now has took on that kicking mantle. Yeah. And in a way, we've not missed that aerial bombardment. But I think part of Abdull's problem when he was with the Robins, it was almost become too reliant on that. We became too reliant, and it's great sometimes in when you got your games in February and March and to when the weather's not great, but that don't get you through May, June, July. That stage of the season, you've got to find another way to play. Yeah,
that's it. Especially when you're going to some ground, even Craven Park, when the wind comes in. I think there's games of Craven Park when it's colder there in February than the Antarctic, isn't it? But yeah, you're right. I don't think KR have missed it at all, because Mike Lewis has took that mantle on. But also, you're right in saying that you found other ways, and this is what I was saying before about 𝗏𝗧 with Ṱanganoa. Ṱanganoa's been amazing for me this season, and it's another way of playing. But you always seem to have 3, 4, 5 different ideas. It's not just a plan A. And that's what it's. If you've got Abdull in your team, it seems to be that's plan A. What's plan B? Whereas now he's gone, you've gone from plan A to plan E and F as well.
Yeah. So, Bri, we're going to get your prediction for the prediction league anyway. But what I'm going to ask you is your predictions for the end of the season, grand final winner and league winner.
Wigan.
Yeah, but also if people do look at the prediction league and where Brian is currently placed, they'll know to take that with an absolute pinch.
Yeah, I'm not doing the best, am I?
Yeah. Right, it's been an absolute pleasure. Just remind people about Rugby League Shirt Day again.
Yeah, Rugby League Shirt Day 2024 this year is on February the 20th of Friday the 20th of September 2024. We use the hashtag RLSD24. Basically, the premise is put on a shirt. It doesn't matter if it's a hoodie, a t-shirt, anything with a club badge on. Spread the love of rugby league, and if you can, put your hand in your pocket and let's raise some money for Rugby League case. Share them photos everywhere, and we'll. You know what? The best thing about last season was the people who hadn't seen certain shirts for years and commenting, and then they went and dug their shirts out, and some fantastic shirts on display. It's just a bit of nostalgia. Basically, it's a bit of nostalgia, but raising some money at the same time.
A huge thank you to everyone who's tuned in on YouTube to watch this week's Robin Pod Weekly. And of course, if you've listened it onto podcast, make sure you subscribe so you get them in your inbox as soon as the pod is out. This has been the Robin Pod Weekly, which is powered by Budget Ties Auto Centre, the only car specialist trusted by the players, club officials and supporters of Hull Kingston Rovers. For now, live, love, laugh and be happy.